Okay guys, we are here in a new anime called Bogus Skill Fruit Master. I hope you enjoy it. Give it a like and subscribe so you can also eat a fruit. And the anime begins with the explanation of a magic tree, saying that they brought happiness while they introduced us to shining fruits. Then we see some kids talking about the abilities they would like to have. And we see that their names are Lena and Light, and that Light is to be an infant. And that day will be his day to receive a special ability. And Lena says that she wants to have an ability to have the same job as him. Then we see how they arrive at a place to receive an ability and enters. Then we see how he is cutting some fruits, and we see how he enjoys his hobby and says that his dream of adventurer was far away after receiving the ability. And we see a flashback from 3 months ago in which he is entering the place that we saw at the beginning of the video. We see a nun telling him about the special fruits that give abilities to those who eat them. But they will have to work according to the ability of the fruit, but they can only eat one fruit, and if they eat two, they will be poisoned and die. And after telling them the rule, Light tells Elena that all famous adventurers have a very powerful ability, but you should only eat one fruit. And we see how Lena eats her fruit, and her ability is called Holy Sword ability. And the nun tells her that it is a special ability and that she is a chosen one who has been waiting for an adventurer like her for a long time. Light goes to eat a fruit, hoping that it is a combat ability and eats it. But her ability is Fruit Master, and is that she can grow one fruit at a time and reduce her cultivation time. It is not such a bad ability. Boy, if they think about it, haha, we continue. And the nun tells him the obvious that it is not a combat ability. And Lena, to console him, tells him that she will also raise fruits with him, but the Holy Sister tells him not to say nonsense, that her ability is only seen once every decade, and that she must be an adventurer, go to the sacred city and leaves. And the boys say goodbye now in the present. We see how he tries to get excited about his work, but that he feels that he was not born for that. And then he sells the fruits that he made and tells us a great fact that his ability is only good for fruits. Haha. And walking on the street, we see a poster of Lena being rank S in record time, meaning she is a very strong adventurer and receiving popularity. And we see how he trains, saying that one day he will reach Lena even though he does not have a combat skill. And we see how a character called Ayla arrives, who is a girl who lives with Light and brings him water. And we see the story of how the village chief gave it to her, and how they work together. They are going to be together at night, and Light tells her that he has been growing many fruits, and that he also has fruits that give abilities to his house. He tells Ayla not to eat them, and we see the fruits in a corner of the house, but he tells the surprise that he used those fruits to make dinner. Haha, pay attention guys, first protagonist of the channel who has bad luck in life more than me. We continue. We see how Light faints and he apologizes for not telling him about the fruits. Then we see how nothing happens to him, and suddenly he acquires a new ability called God of the Sword, and Ayla also acquires an ability to evaluate the abilities of the fruits. But we see how suddenly she took out a kind of scanner and tells Light that she has an ability that makes him immune to the poison of all fruits, and also has another ability that is God of the Sword, that when he has a sword, increases his attack power and goes to his yard to use a sword and sees how the trees break, being the only one to have 2 skills, and the next day Light. And Ayla went to a guild where there are many adventurers. We see how the children talk about the reward in some monsters, but that they are not there for that, but to join the adventurers and be with Lena. Light goes to reception to have an assignment and leaves Ayla alone. But she evaluates the adventurers who are there to have information. But suddenly, Light looked for a problem with a bully adventurer disrespecting him and attacks him. But Light stops him easily, and the boy cowers and leaves. Then our boys go to do the assignment, and we see that they must capture a slime, and Light for him cuts it easily, without feeling the weight of the sword. The only thing he has to do is manage the strength of the sword, and cutting what remains of the slime, they hear the screams of the bully adventurer of guild fighting against an ogre. But the boys see Light and send him the achievement, but Light fights against him, and there she tells him to be careful if he gives him an attack, since his ability only in attack, not in defense, and in what he uses a maximum attack. He thinks of Lena saying that she is going to be at his level and does a super attack called Demonic Cut and splits him in two, and in the reception, we see how he hands over the ogre and the slime. But something happens in the guild, and it is that the S group, the highest rank, is there. And we see Lena enter and Light tries to call her, and when she answers very indifferently, he tells her that he is confusing the person. We are introduced to the S-rank characters Grouse, their leader nicknamed the Swift God, Eric the Strong Arm, Sarum the Burning Flame, and Lena the Holy Sword. Then we see Light greeting Lena, but she says that she is confusing him with the person and acts as if she does not know him, and Light is in shock since apparently she does not remember him. Then Ayla and Light go to eat something, although Light is in a bad mood and chokes while eating, and a girl gives him a glass of water, and we see that it is Lena, and she tells him to keep quiet since their leader is going to see them, and they both wonder what they are doing. Light tells her that he and Ayla are adventurers, and tells her what happened with them and their abilities, and tells Elena to tell him about her group. But she says that it is not so easy to work with those people, and tells him to stay away from those people too, to Light. But he with doubt says, if they are not a good group, and we see a flashback of them facing a large snake, and Sarum uses a fire attack to weaken it, but the flames arrive at a farm and destroy the crop. But Grouse doesn't care about that, and Lena reports it to the nun, but she says that the only thing she will remember is that the sacred group defeated a snake. The thing about the farm doesn't matter anymore in the present with the Light Boys. She says that although she doesn't understand the situation well, and her concern that she should leave Sacred and join their group, she refuses, and we see how she begins to cry. But she stands up and leaves, and in the Hunters Guild looking for the reward for the Light missions, she wonders what the Sacred group will be doing to Lena, and Ayla tells her to ask the leader of the group, and we see how he is in a room talking to girls, but a girl comes and interrupts him, telling him that the residents complained because their crops were burned. But Grouse does not care and tells her to get better informed and to leave, and Light enters and tells him to leave Lena out of the group and says that he knows what happened with the farmer's harvest. But Grouse belittles him, saying that he is just a crazy fan, and calls the bodyguards to get him out. And the next day we see the group S talking, and Lena says that she wants to leave the group since she cannot continue like this, and wants to be faithful to her principles. But Grouse stops her before leaving and threatens her with his sword. Then when she puts her sword in its place, she slaps her, telling her that they will save the world together. But she means that she will not leave Sacred, and the group is seen leaving while a crowd applauds them. And Light appears telling Lena to go together to hunt monsters, telling her that when they were children, they were going to be adventurers, the two, but she cannot leave the group. And Light tells her a grouse who wants to fight him, and he accepts, but with one condition. If he loses, he will have to leave the guild forever. And we see his ability with Ayla's scanner, who says he is the god of speed. He makes very fast attacks, and the fight begins, and we see how strong and superior Grouse is. Lena worries about Light, but he says that he will win for her, and she, along with Ayla, give him their support. But his sword is broken, and he borrows the broom from an offended Mr. Grouse. He tries to attack him, but Light hits a direct blow to his face and sends him flying. And Light tells the other members that if he messes with them, they will end up the same, and tells Lena that she is free and that she can do whatever she wants, and proposes that she join his group. And she says that yes, she has waited a long time for this. And a week later, we see how the boys are harvesting fruits and having breakfast with the girls. Light says that he is much better after his fight with Grouse. Then a boy comes to tell Lena that the Sacred Sister wants to talk to her about her leaving the group, but she flatly refuses, and we realize that they did not end on good terms with Group S. And we realize that the boys' assignments are positions that give little money as a consequence of becoming enemies, and their first low-ranking mission is to repair a damaged house by a storm, and then the other missions like looking for a cat and killing rats. But at night, despite having little money, Lena tells Light that her dream was to help people with this kind of problems. although she already knows what Light wants to be a combat adventurer. But he says not really that he had fun, and he and Ayla show their spirit, and he has an idea to ask for a request, and says that it is a custom to ask for luck before traveling. And he came up with a name for the group. Luxeria means incomplete light, and they make the request. Then we see the nun talking to the purple-haired girl about a Category S assignment that they will give to Luxeria, and that it is possible that only Lena survives, but the others do not.